Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk about children with spiritual gifts, children with psychic abilities. So you have you have the five clairs. I think it's five. It might be more. Anyway, the ability to clairvoyance, the ability to see. You have clairolfaction, the ability to smell. Clairsentience, the ability to hear. Um, there's another one. I think there's clairtangency when people like touch things and they know the story of them like that. Um, Sentience, I said, which is feeling or empathy. They also call it empathy. And then I'm missing one. Taste. Some people are able to taste things. That's really interesting to me how people can taste things and know something about something. But that's one too. I think that's it. And then of course, claircognizance, just knowing, where you just know. You're using your intuition, which we all have that gift, right? But I want to talk about children with those gifts because I feel like we're living in a time where more and more children have these gifts. And because we're shifting paradigms, because the vibrations are raising up on the earth, you have parents who have no such gifts, don't know much about any of these gifts, with children born to them that are highly advanced in these areas. And I want to talk about it because I'm born in 87 and I do not know a lot of people like myself. Not to say they don't exist. Of course, we exist all over the world, and I just know that like when I was growing up, I didn't know very many people like myself. Um, and while it was not a big thing in school for me, nobody ever teased me. Nobody made fun of me. Um, Nothing like that. I never had no issues with anyone in school. Actually, I used to like sit there and read people's minds and stuff during free time and stuff. But I never had an issue with anybody in school. Nobody ever made fun of me. They thought that it was just so cool. I remember one girl, she used to like try to test me and like draw something and then, hide it from me and then, ask me what she drew. Things like that. And they just thought it was so fun and so cool. But my home life, on the other hand, was very different. Um, to my mom, spiritual gifts belong in church. And that's the way a lot of people in her generation see it. And that's if they acknowledge it at all. Um, to her, if I got a message from God, it was because I was in church. She didn't believe that I should do it outside of church. Whereas for me, this is a real gift. You don't shut it off. It has nothing to do with the Holy Ghost or the Holy Spirit or anything like that. You I'm saying anything like that because people try to box everything. You want to classify everything, and there is no classification when it comes to these gifts. You pick up information from anyone and anything, from any place, and any time. There is no controlling it, and I think that my mom was not only, I'm cold. My mom was not only not accepting of it. She just didn't even try to understand it at all. Like when I would tell her, like, look, I can't I can't change that. Like I can't not feel it. I can't not feel what this person feels or, be sad when someone else is sad. I couldn't tell her, I'm hearing them speaking, their spirit speaking to me. Let me talk to them. Like she used to always try to stop me and make me feel bad, like as if I was doing something evil. And she really literally thought that, okay, when you're in church, that it's the Holy Spirit you're contacting. But if you're not in church, then it's something evil that you're doing and it's the devil talking to you. Like, where you get that logic from? I never really understood that. And to make matters worse as I got older, because this was really a thing for me, probably starting around the age of 7. Oh, and I used to project like a mug, like all the time, starting around the age of 7 and up. I was doing it all the time, and I just, would tell people, "Hey, I'm going on a trip," and just go chill outside and close my eyes. I didn't realize that I was doing shamanic work even back then. That's really funny, but I was I was in it and unashamed and unaware of what it meant for me as an adult, I guess, or what it meant to other adults around me. Like, some of my aunts were very cool with it, and my grandmom was the most accepting out of everybody, and just saying, if God gave you a gift and you use it, regardless of what it is and regardless of how anybody feels about it, you use those gifts, and you're special and you're different, and you just have to roll with that. And so, I had some sort of confidence in myself, in a sense. I wasn't wrong whenever I gave these messages. I wasn't wrong whenever I picked up on other people's emotions. But where it started to really affect my my self-esteem, um, was when my mom kind of got vicious about it. Like, she would start calling me a freak and saying that I was weird and that nobody liked me and that's why I don't have any friends and I'm weird and, all this other kind of stuff. And in a way, it didn't bother me because whatever. I just like being alone. I'm an introvert. That's just who I am. That's also just, otherworldly to her, for somebody to want to be alone and be cool by themselves. I didn't care if somebody came and made conversation with me. I might make conversation back with you if I like you. If I don't, then I just don't. But it didn't bother me to be sitting there chilling alone. And it never has. But she got vicious about it, like taunting me. And, like, for example, one of my sisters, she would give her really nice, lavish birthday parties. And my other sister, our birthday's like a week apart. Like, she's born on the 13th and I'm born on the 22nd. It's like barely a week and a half or whatever. And she would, when we were really younger, we always had a birthday party together, period. Like, whichever one of us was closer to the weekend, whatever, it landed on that day. That's the day y'all having a cake. Y'all, both of y'all names on the cake. That's that. Excuse me. But when we got older, she like made a point to throw her birthday party and say that I'm not getting one because I didn't have friends. Like, really isolating me and making like my gifts is what separated me from having friends around, when I just hadn't found people that I didn't vibe with. I hadn't found people that I vibe with. Like, and I'm not going to hang around people that I don't vibe with. I've always been that way. And so I don't see what was wrong with it. And I'm making this video so that other people who are parents right now don't, I hate when they do that. Don't try to stuff your child into a box. We are not toys. We are not, games or some shit. Like, we're human beings and we are what some people would call advanced human beings. We have feelings. Don't treat us like we don't. Don't treat us like there's something wrong with us. Don't treat us like we need to go to the counselor or we need to see the pastor or we need this or we need that. Like, what we need is love, just like any other child in this world. And I'm saying this because I just feel like it's a prevalence of it. Like more and more kids are popping up with these gifts. Nurture them, love them. And now you have like support groups and stuff. Like, before, when I was a kid, that kind of stuff didn't exist. So there wasn't anywhere, even if my mom was accepting of it, like, there wasn't anywhere for her to go to find information on it and things like that. But I want to tell y'all this story that really changed me and caused me to like walk away from it, or kind of like shut off this ESP thing, the extrasensory thing that I have going on. When I was like 13, 13, like 8th grade, I was projecting this day. I always tell people I had dreams because, and most people don't understand what it is to project or what it is to go somewhere or see something and be there and be feeling it and experiencing. So I always just say I'm having a dream. And so in this dream, I am waking up inside of this house and I see smoke everywhere. And I go out into the kitchen and it's like, it happens very quickly that like I'm walking out slowly and everything, but it's like I can see smoke everywhere. The smoke is thick and I can see it coming from the stove. And I could see the cause of it, but I couldn't get to it. And the smoke was so thick, I woke up coughing, coughing, coughing. And it's like when I catch my breath from all the coughing that I'm doing from inhaling this smoke, I hear sirens, ambulances, fire trucks. Like just the fire truck wasn't that far from where I lived at, and apparently there was a fire about 10 minutes away. Like 10 minutes, maybe like 5-10 minutes up the road, not that far. Um, but it was just so loud. Like people in my neighborhood were waking up, and people were coming outside looking, like thinking that it was in our neighborhood that it was happening, but it wasn't. And I stayed up and I got on my knees and I prayed for hours until it was time to go to school, until it was time for me to get ready. Like when I woke up, it couldn't have been no more than 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I stayed and I prayed and I stayed up and prayed and prayed and prayed. That's how eerie that feeling was. I was aware that other people were in the house. I was aware that there was this smoke that was thick, that there was a fire. I was aware of everything and not unable to do anything about it. So I just prayed. And I was so loud in my prayers that my mom came and was like, "Will you shut up?" Believe it or not, she was like, "That's enough. Like, go back to bed. We can hear you. Go back to bed." And I didn't. I just started to pray quieter, or whatever. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something had happened. And I told her something happened, something happened. And she's like, "It's just a dream. Go back to sleep or whatever." And I got on the bus for school, and I noticed that the bus driver skipped the stop. And when we got to school, he said, "Y'all noticed that I skipped LaShonda's house today?" And that was a little girl. She's like 5 years old. And she had to take the middle school bus in order to get to the elementary school that was next to that school. It's like technically a different zip code or whatever. And her parents wanted her at that school or whatever. She was actually taken care of by her grandmother. Her parents were on drugs, and it was her and her 2 siblings. And they all died in a fire that night from smoke inhalation. Thank God they didn't suffer anything, but they were already gone. And it was like, if I wasn't creeped out enough, if I wasn't freaked out, just unable to control myself, I could not stop crying. I was on 10. I was on 100. I could not calm myself down because I couldn't think. I couldn't fathom, like, why did I need to be there? Why did my spirit take me there? Why was I unable to do anything? Like, what's the point of having these gifts? Like, I was really having this crisis. And I'm having mixed emotions right now because it really pissed me off because my mom made me see a psychiatrist at that age because of that. And my grandmom kept trying to tell me, kept trying to calm me down. And she kept saying, it's okay. It's not your fault. You were just allowed to see it. You were just allowed to see it. Like, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's okay. And I kept saying, I don't want these gifts. And I kept praying, I do not want these gifts. And she said, one day your gifts will change the world. One day they will mean something to you and they will mean something to other people. Stop beating yourself up. That's just the gifts that you're given. Whether we are sent here to cook and clean or mop the floor very well or, create businesses and create medications that help people, whether we are sent here to sing and dance and make other people laugh and be joyful, or whether we're sent here to give people warnings and messages, all of us play a part. And you have to play your part. And you have good days and bad days. Everybody has good days in their gifts, and everybody has bad days in their gifts. And you have to play your part. You don't get to, drop out like that. And she's like, don't listen to your mom. Don't listen to your mom. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't know what she's saying. And she also was upset with my mom for sending me to a psychiatrist who couldn't really help me because they don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But, You know what I mean? But it was heartbreaking for me, and it really changed me because I had no one to talk to. And while my grandmom did her best to console me, all I could figure out to help myself was to pretend I didn't hear, pretend I didn't see, pretend that I couldn't feel what other people were feeling. Like, shut all of that off. And yeah, if you ignore it enough, it dulls. It doesn't go away, it just dulls down, and you just ignore whatever little bit that does come up. But the more you use it, the more vibrant it is. And the more active it is, the more messages like boom, 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 like that. But I feel like I lost a piece of myself back then and lost a piece of my own life because you can't shut off who you are. And that's what I want to express to parents now. Like, that child came here to you for a reason. They came with the gifts that they came for a reason. And your job is to love them. Your job is to build up their confidence, build up their self esteem, make them feel like, they're valid and they're valuable to you and they're valuable and they will one day find their value in the world. That's what you're here to prepare them for. And I have to also say this, like, I feel like there's more kids coming with that talent because that's the way that we will evolve into being as human beings on this earth, on the new earth. And this purge that's happening now, this cleansing that's happening now, you see this mass amount of deaths, you see this energy of the patriarchy just falling. You see, all these things have been hidden in the dark coming out to the light. There's this massive cleansing that's happening. And I feel like these gifts are going to be the norm in the future. And that's why more kids are coming here like that. And I just want to share that, like, if you're struggling with trying to parent a child and you're trying to be fair to them, all we want is love. That's all any child wants. That's all any child really needs. I mean, yeah, we need to eat too, and we need to put roof over our head and all of that kind of stuff. But we live for love. We live for support of our parents and to make our parents proud. And even if you don't understand it, like, get help and get some understanding. Okay? Don't ostracize them. Don't make them feel like something's wrong with them. But I talked enough on the subject. Have a great day.